Hello everyone, welcome back to Technologic. Today I'll be taking a look at the GeForce GT1030. This is a low-budget graphics card recently released by Nvidia as a counter to the RX 550 recently released by AMD. So let's take a look at what this bottom-of-the-line graphics card is actually capable of. Let's start off by taking a look at the GT1030 specifications. It is based on the Pascal architecture. It has 2GB of VRAM, 384 CUDA cores, and a mere 30-watt TDP. All of this coming in at a dirt cheap $69 MSRP. Having such a low TDP allows manufacturers to produce not only low profile, but passively cooled versions of this card. Today I'll be taking a look at MSI's low profile version. Alright, with those specs out of the way, let's take a look at how this tiny GPU handles a few popular titles, specifically when paired with a G4560 Pentium. Starting off with the ever-popular Counter-Strike Global Offensive shows smooth gameplay, even on max settings. During the match I played, I saw an average of 115 FPS with a minimum drop of 61. Not a challenging feat for sure, but it does keep the promise of inexpensive eSports gaming. Moving to a more intensive competitive title, Overwatch was also easily playable. Loading up the medium preset gave a healthy 65 FPS average and never dropping below 40. Maybe not the best for a competitive player, but we're really looking for playability at this level of hardware. Since it handles these less intensive titles decently, what is the GT1030 capable of when a AAA title like GTA 5 is thrown at it? After tweaking a few settings, I was able to get a surprisingly smooth performance, averaging just over 60 FPS with some noticeable drops into the 30s. Pushing the limits even further, pulling up The Witcher 3 definitely puts a strain on this low-power GPU. Even on the low preset, it does struggle to output an average of over 30 FPS. Not unplayable, but certainly not the smoothest gameplay. Loading up Battlefield 1 offered up another surprisingly decent performance. Albeit on the low preset, the GT1030 manages to hold a fairly steady 60 FPS average. Keep in mind this is in single player. Trying out the multiplayer was playable, but noticeably choppier than the campaign. Expect an average of 45 to 60 FPS, depending on which maps and modes you play. All in all, I was fairly pleased with the resulting gameplay. I've never had issues getting a game to run, and I generally got respectable performance. Although I typically don't recommend these types of low budget, profile, power, and most importantly performance cards, I can definitely see where this GPU could shine. If you're on an extremely tight budget, the GT1030 is a surprisingly powerful card for its $69 price tag. Having such a low TDP also makes it a very viable option when upgrading an older build that is low profile or has a lowly rated power supply. If you're comparing this to an older card, it performs almost as well as an old GTX 750 Ti, just in a smaller package. This GPU was released to compete with AMD's RX 550, and I think it does a fairly decent job. Undercutting the price by $10 and offering similar, if not better performance, definitely makes it a compelling option. However, if you have the extra $15 to $30 to spend on your GPU, I'd still recommend taking a look at the GTX 1050 or the RX 560. Both offer noticeably better performance for a relatively small increase in cost. Well, that's all I have on the GT1030. If this video helped you out, drop a like and leave a comment with your thoughts on the low-end GPU market. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more budget-friendly hardware and benchmarks. As always, I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.